What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. Let me say that one more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Make your next thing a big one. All right. Today on the program, Kace Cayne. Who's that? You're going to find out in the next few minutes. So stick around for Kace Cayne. This week's shows, I'll be at the RAB in Conway, Arkansas on Friday nights. That's my regular Friday night gig, the video dance party karaoke jam. It's been going quite well. It feels almost like old times. You know, I know we're dealing with this coronavirus thing, the COVID-19 as we speak. But as you walk into the RAB, make sure you have a mask on, put some hand sanitizer on, and you're walking around, keep the mask up. But while you're having your drinky drinks and eating some food, you can pull the mask down. Just while we're interacting with each other, try to stay vigilant. We don't know what this virus thing is doing. Is it so bad? Is it not so bad? Hey, I'm not a scientist. I'll stay vigilant. Put the mask on. You got it. Full bar, kitchen's open, pool tables. They got a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to make some money, hey, I encourage you. Check it out at the RAB, Conway, Arkansas. Friday nights, 8 p.m. until, I think we're doing about till 1 a.m. So get to it. Get to the RAB. All right, that's enough intro. Let's get into it with Kace Cayne. Now, I'm Skyping Kace Cayne, so if you're listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version on YouTube. YouTube.com/user/KeysDAN. Or just look up KeysDAN. You'll see the Radio What logo right next to me. There you go. All right, let's get into it with Kace Cayne. Skyping Kace Cayne now.
Booyah!
I like that. Booyah is a good way to start. I think that's where I'll start the conversation. I'm talking to Kace Cayne. Man, I've been listening to your music, and it's like it's bouncy. It's got a good beat. You got good rhythm. You got good flow. Let's start there, man. I mean, let the people know who you are, Kace Cayne.
Hey, yes, indeed. My name is Kace Cayne. I am from Indianapolis, Indiana. I've been rapping for about 10 years now.
It shows, man. It really does. Now, from what I've been told, I'm born in Miami, raised in South Florida and the Florida Keys. But from what I was told, when I was a 1-year-old baby, somewhere in the 0 to 1 year, I lived in Indianapolis, Indiana. There's pictures of me and my favorite cousin, Charity, out there in Indianapolis. So I think I lived there at some point. So you're born and raised in Indiana?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like, I lived in a couple other states, but other than that, man, it's just been Indiana.
All right. Well, tell me, how is it in Indiana? And is there a nickname for the people in that state?
Oh, the Hoosiers, the good old Hoosiers.
I was going to say it, but I'd rather you say it since you're actually from there. You are a person who's been there, born and raised. How has that affected your life, man? How is life in Indianapolis? I mean, because it gets colder there than it does here in the South.
Don't even mention the winters, man. Like, they are ridiculous. I try my best to make it to Georgia, somewhere down south, because if I get stuck here, I'm talking, it is just snowpocalypse, man.
Well, I mean, you say you've been doing, rapping for 10 years. What gave you the inkling? What gave you the thought that you could rap, man? Were you always good at talking to people or getting out of trouble with your voice, with your mouth?
Not even, man. I'm super shy at times. So my music thing, I've always been musically inclined, but I never really put a real focus into it until middle school. I sat down and was let me write a verse and see what happens. And just it was cool. And it was all right, let me just keep practicing. And then I think it was like my freshman year in high school, I finally actually composed a full song. Yeah, like I was just writing verses and not knowing how to like completely like piece it together. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's get a timeline on that. Kace Cayne, how old a man are you right now?
I am 27.
27 years old. You've been doing it for 10 years since you were 17. Now, before you were 17, you were very shy. You didn't, what did you do in school that you were, how was the family life? Tell me about a young Kace Cayne.
So my mom died when I was 2, and my dad was never really involved. My grandmother raised me.
Okay.
So,
okay. Well, that says something. You have somebody with a little bit of experience. I'm sorry that your mom passed so early. I mean, what was it how did she die?
She had a heart complication. I forget what it was called. It's really hard to pronounce, but she had a heart complication and basically just gave out on her.
Man, that's tragic, man. And you never knew your dad, or never kept in touch with him, really?
I've had maybe like 3 experiences with him, and each experience was just bad. So like by that third one, I kind of just disowned him. He gave me a phone call for my birthday. It was like actually 2 days after my birthday. It was like, oh, happy belated, blah blah blah. And I was like, I don't have a father. Like,
yeah, I got one of those. And I hate to speak ill of the dad. He's long passed away. In fact, I got told 6 months after he died, oh yeah, your dad died. I went, oh, I didn't know him that well. So, yeah,
right.
All right, I guess. I didn't know how to feel, and I guess I didn't have much feel about that. But you got raised by your grandma. I'm glad you had that. Right. I had grandparents that really took a lot of part in my raising, my upbringing. They were of Cuban descent, straight from Cuba, there in South Florida. So I had that. And there's a lot of Cubans in my family that are in Indianapolis now. So obviously you have some Cubans in that state. I don't know if you know of any, but there are some. There's a lot of flavor.
Yet, man, but like I definitely like the Cuban community. They're dope folks to party with.
Yeah, well, they got a little flavor, man. The Latin beat. I got the rhythm from them, and I guess the blood is thinning a little bit. I'm 3rd generation, so it's starting to thin a little bit. My Spanish is terrible, man, real terrible. Well, all right, let's go back to Kace Cayne in school. How was your school life, man? Were you a good student? Were you interested in anything?
Oh man, like I loved the English. I wasn't too much of a math fan, but I made it happen. I went to like 5 different elementary schools. Now, I wasn't much of a fighter, but I would be like what you would call a class clown.
All right. That's the beginnings. That's the seeds of Kace Cayne, man. That's where you start. Developing your tact, your gift of gab, your ability to get yourself out of trouble or maybe into trouble using your mouth, using your words.
Being a new kid so many times, man, you just had to make a way.
How did that happen? I mean, okay, you started school and then what? Grandma was moving around a lot, or you just got?
Oh yeah, we definitely moved around a lot.
Okay.
I grew up on like the west side of Indianapolis, and then I moved to the east side of Indianapolis, and then right after that, we moved out of Indy into Anderson. Just a lot of moving.
Why? I mean, was there a reason for that? Was Grandma into something, or she got different jobs?
She liked to move around. She liked to live.
Okay, but it's always in the Indianapolis area. I think I have cousins that are at Indiana Purdue, Greenville. I guess is kind of the but it's still in the same area, it's still around there somewhere. But so she stayed in Indianapolis, but moved far enough to where you could go to different schools. Well, I mean, I guess that gives you experiences, but it doesn't give you an ability to make long-lasting friends. I mean, I might be reading too much into that. Do you have long-lasting friends?
Man, I probably still talk to maybe 2 or 3 people from elementary school. That's good, actually.
Yeah, by the time you get to 30, really, all you need is like a handful. If you got a handful of friends that you still mess with, that's great. That's a wonderful thing, man. And I think I have that same handful that would probably ride or die for me, man. That would do anything that I needed if I needed help. And that's good. That's good that you have that. I mean, you keep in touch with them in person or on Facebook or what?
Oh, both. Like anytime I'm in the city, like, and they're not busy, they don't have kids going on. Like, oh yeah, let's hang out.
You
Just like,
see,
oh,
okay, as we start to get a little older, you see people start to get families and kids, and their priorities start to get a little bit different. So, being in the music industry, you started at 17. I think you say that's your official start time. What did you do at 17 that made you? I'm a rapper.
man, like I got my equipment and everything. I've been self-engineered from the start. So it was just researching everything, figuring out what I needed to buy and making it happen. I was doing like YouTube tutorials and everything, trying to figure out how to mix my stuff.
So what was the first YouTube? What was the first equipment that you got? Was it like Fruity Loops or what were you doing?
My very first program was like Mixcraft 8, like something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I forget that you're younger than me. So maybe Fruity Loops might have been a very old. Now it's called like FL Studio.
I started using Fruity Loops until about probably like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's called what? FL Studio now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, which programs do you feel that make the best beats, and do you make your own beats?
I do not make my own beats. I have ADHD and I cannot stay focused. Like you gotta sit there and listen to the same melody over and over and over again. I don't have it in me.
All right. Well, yeah, I get it, man. I know that making beats is it's a viable business for some people. But I mean, do you want to share who's been making the beats for you? Give credit where credit is due.
Oh my gosh, my boy Just the Producer, he's also based out of Indianapolis. Like I get lots of beats from him. There's another producer, 600. 600 is this cat out of I think he's out of the Netherlands or something like that. Like, yeah. There's Taz Taylor, Johnny Giuliano's another one of my favorites. Damn, just all sorts of stuff.
It's amazing what you can do with this internet. You can meet people all over the world, but you do have one local producer. Do you collaborate with him? Do you get into?
Boy, I swear by him.
Do you get into his studio? Are you actually buds?
Like, no, I actually met him through Facebook. I haven't met him face to face yet, but like the connection is just there, bro. Like we be making phone calls and all sorts of stuff. He hits me on the video chat all the time. We just be bullshitting. It's cool though.
Well, that's good, man.
Hey, I'll make you a beat right now. You're looking at me right now. I'll make you a beat. I'm like, all right. Just get to putting it together and everything. Like, bro, you're a wizard.
Yeah. Once you get into it, you start to get magical, man. I know that Fruit Loops, they'll come up with, or some of these programs, they'll come, with a set beat to give you an idea of how beats are supposed to go, and then you start rearranging them. When I was doing Fruity Loops, I think it was pretty much just little tiles that you would just mix around and move. And I want a guitar, I want a snare, I want a hi-hat, and it would just. But for somebody who has ADHD and doesn't have a long attention span, I could see where that could be difficult. But you have enough attention span to write poems, to write. You said you were good in English. Were you writing poetry back then, or writing beat? Writing
creative writing was my thing. I loved it.
Excellent. Well, I mean, do you remember the teacher that you had, and what kind of response you had?
Let's see. Mrs. Scott, my 8th grade English teacher, like she really got me into it. Was like teaching me all the like different like I would say like advanced similes and metaphors and whatnot, like the college grade stuff. Like I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. I wonder how I can like incorporate this in different stuff. And it's like trying to figure out how to like make my rap bars real nice and polished,
Well, she sounds like somebody that was giving you some kind of inspiration. Were you reading books, of people? What were the assignments? Did she assign special reading for you, or was it all class assignments? I know you went through it. Was it the same high school all through? Because you changed a lot of elementary schools, but that high school, was it solid? 2 high schools. Yeah, that's difficult too. You start in the middle of being the new kid, and you didn't get the hazing in one of the schools that they do to the freshmen. I guess it's a 4-year schools here in the States most of the time. So it's was 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th for the people that are listening around the world. Some high schools are 10th, 11th, and 12th only. But you went to 9th and 10th at one school, and then you had to jump off and go to another school, 11 and 12.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's got to be a little difficult.
The crazy part is I didn't finish, man. Like, I'm 27. I'm still not done. Like, my senior year, I went 3 days out of 3 weeks and was like, I'm about to pursue music. And it's just been the thing ever since.
Sometimes you have to take a chance on yourself, man. And it's betting on yourself. It could, it could make you prosper, or it could make you fall flat on your face. But you're still in your 20s, man. You can do whatever you want. You could fall flat on your face and still get up. You got Wolverine powers, man. You'll heal. As long as, I guess, as long as you don't have anybody else that's counting on you too much.
Right. Because I'm kid free. But failure is nothing but a lesson.
That is correct. Lessons are learned. And all that failure, inspirations come. I see you have lots of beats out on Spotify and your various different social medias. Your Instagram is just full of flavor. It definitely is a good follow for people that haven't followed you yet. There's all kinds of information about you there, including some samples of the beats that you make, the rhymes that you make. Do you remember the first rhyme that you made when you were 17? Did you perform it in front of your class, or who were you annoying with the first rhymes?
I showed off the rhyme to like my closest homeboys, and like I still recite this from time to time. When people like run up to me and they're like, "Kace, freestyle," and it's just like, "Yep, first verse time."
Well, okay. When you're freestyling, do you?
Name's KC, the king of the clouds now. See, crank up the music and I'm breaking it down. Ain't nobody fucking with it. No time like you see a girl approach and I see she down. You know what I'm saying? Like that was, bro. That was one of my
Hey, I think I stepped on it a little bit. Could you repeat it one more time so the people will have a fresh piece?
A fresh sense of it is, let me tell you a little something about me. The name's KC, the king of the clouds now. See, crank up the music and I'm breaking it down. Ain't nobody fucking with it. Now time fly. You see a girl approach and I see she get down. 5 minutes with the girl and I'm on the son of mine. 5 seconds later, then I'm finished to the ground. Let me bust a wide open. It's about to go down.
Wow. the speed at which you come through, man. It's just it's mind boggling for sure, man. I've never been one of a fast talker. I've tried to do fast talking. And of course there's different raps that I've got in my pocket, like, different rappers that have inspired me, like Heavy D. That's my man. That's, there's somebody for me. I definitely know that whole rap, and Nothing But Love. Definitely have that rap. And there's quite a few rappers that I enjoy, but he's been my spirit animal. In fact, when I was a firefighter down in Key Largo, on the back of my helmet it said Heavy D, because my name is Dan. so yeah, that was. I mean, what rappers have inspired you?
Tech Nine, Lil Wayne, Andre 3000, Big Crit, Chance the Rapper, Pastor Troy, like, man, Do or Die.
So what pieces of these rappers, I mean, what kind of inspiration do you get individually from some of these rappers? Say Tech Nine, I like the way he does this, and Chance the Rapper, I like the way he does everything. I know these people. They're definitely good stars. But what do you get from them?
Tech taught me how to break down a syllable count when it comes to your technique and how you break down your cadences. Like, he's real technical with his rhymes, and I've always loved that about him. You know?
I think I heard him on a podcast, and he's very eloquent, man. He's well read, and he's smart. He's just smart. And I don't know if he ever finished school either, or he went back and got his GED or not. But definitely when he was talking, I heard him. It was like a at least an hour and a half that he was talking, and he definitely, there's more to him than what you see out on the record, on the album. There's depth, and that's what I'm trying to find out from you, Kace Cayne. What are the experiences that made you who you are, and what do you write about? And are there any true stories in these raps? And the first one, I remember I was asking about the one at 17 when you broke out. That was the one that you just recited. Now, you said you just did that for your boys. Did you ever do it at a talent show or out on an open mic or spoken word, anything?
That verse, I usually just do that one to play around. Like anytime somebody's like, "Hey, spit something," I'll just throw that one at them, and it's something quick and witty just to get you to go, "Oh, okay,"
All right, he's got the gift of gab. He can he's got a tongue like Twista. Yeah, I guess.
Right. Like, it's usually something I'd use like right before I go on stage or something. Like, "Hey, I got something that's going to impress you. Come stay for my set." And they're like, "Oh, okay, you got something?" And I'll spit that, and then, "Okay." And they stay for the set, and I show off a little bit.
All right. Well, let's talk about that first set. Were you going to karaoke shows or open mics or spoken words, or what was that first set where you got in front of strangers and tried to show off your wares?
The first show was in Elwood, Indiana, and black folks in Elwood, Indiana don't necessarily mix, but I was, like I said, like, yeah, this was before my 18th birthday, yeah. So I'm nervous as hell backstage, and I'm talking to one of my mentors, and he's just like, "Kace, you got this, bro." I was like, "I don't think I got this." He's like, "Here's the microphone. You go on next." It was like, oh my God. So they call me out on stage. The beat starts playing, and I'm like, "All right, now I know." So time to spit the verse. I spit my verse a little bit. I'm starting to see people coming in from the bar. I'm like, all right, kids starting to pull people away from alcohol. I'm doing something.
And it turned into a trial. What was the response, man? It turned into a trial by fire. But what was the response from the crowd? People are coming in from other places. They're hearing this joyful noise.
I thought it was like maybe a crowd of like 5 people, and it ended up with like maybe 20 at the end of it. But like the fact that I was getting people to leave the bar, like I've seen folks perform and they'll leave the stage area and go to the bar. So,
oh yeah,
the opposite effect on me for my first set was very surprising.
Kace Cayne, that had to make you feel good. You had a positive effect, man. I mean, when you're drawing a crowd, you're getting that energy from them. I mean, it's not just you spitting out words to them. You're getting the energy from them, that response, man. So, I mean, that has to give you the wherewithal where you say, I got to keep going. I got to keep doing this. Yes. And that was that first rap. And was that a fully formed rap and with beats? And I mean, who was providing the beat?
I've been actually smart about how I get my beats. Like, it was like this royalty-free instrumentals.com website or something. You had to like pay like $20 a beat or whatever, and they give you like your distribution rights for like 20,000 plays or something. But I wasn't even doing that back then, so I wasn't even worried about stuff like that.
Right.
It was like, oh, cool, $20, whatever.
So that first one, was that a cappella, or did you have a beat behind you?
Oh no, I recorded everything.
No, I'm saying, was that one that you did for those 25 people that walked away from the bar, was that a cappella, or did you have music behind you?
Oh no, I had music behind me.
Oh, okay. And that was something that you got off of YouTube for free? One of those free sites?
No, not YouTube.
Oh, okay.
No, I've been from the jump.
Very cool. I mean, I just try to figure out how, what you're doing is you're teaching the next generation how to get started. This is primarily a learning podcast, and we're learning from you. Well, right now, if people are watching the video version, I'm looking up your nose, man. Step back.
Oh, shoot. My bad.
There you go. No, if people are listening to the audio version, I'll put this out as an audio version, but then I also have the video up on YouTube. There you are. You look like an angel again. Look at all that light. No, that's beautiful, man. You look very angelic with all the light behind you. Oh my goodness, now you're glowing. Woo! All right, I encourage you look it up on YouTube. You're gonna find the beautiful Kace
dude, I'm
Cayne.
gonna love this. I'm gonna share this on Facebook. Like, hey,
He'll be right there.
Such a goofy crap.
As I'm pointing, you're right there, right next to me.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I mean, and I know I'm having a good time with you. I'm having fun with you a little bit, but I'm trying to find, where did that first rap, was it inspired by something, or was it just something that you came up with? What was it all about? Do you remember it?
Man, that very first rap, I'm not even gonna say it was sentimental in the slightest. It was just something to put together. Like, hey, I can do something. Like, this isn't just a rhyme. Like, I can put together a nice little scheme. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a nice little pattern.
Well, growing up in the 80s, I mean, when I was a baby DJ, I graduated in 1986, but, my influences were, Cool Mo D and LL Cool J and Curtis Blow and those raps. I remember it was real simplified, but it was definitely, well, I can't say that. I can say that it was mostly I'm the best from the east to the west. I got the mouth, the best from the north to the south, and it was
because it was so happy. Like, even though they were saying like some hardcore stuff, it still came off so happy.
It was, and then somewhere around 1990, the Two Live Crew came about, and then in the early 90s, Tupac came about, and Biggie came about, and it all changed overnight. Really, it seemed like the 80s. You can see where it stopped, and then the 90s, it was just letting it all hang out. I mean, do you go back to like Crush Groovin', that kind of music?
In the 90s, I was listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm listening to Wu-Tang Clan, preferably Method Man out of the Wu-Tang Clan, because I just loved how he rapped out of everybody. Who else did I mess with back then? Some of the old school Twisted tracks. Like, I didn't get into Twisted real hardcore until later, but his old stuff when he's Mr. Tongue Twister, like, dude, so
him and Busta Rhymes, as far as speed, those are the ones to go for. I don't know if you aspiring to be a speedy rapper, because the few songs that I've listened to of yours, it sounds so smooth, man. It's more Jay-Z as opposed to Busta Rhymes, where you just kind of just let it hang, let it flow. There's a lot of there's a little bit of oh my goodness, Snoop Dogg. There's a little bit of Snoop in there. I got that feeling when I was listening to it. You got the vibes, man. I don't want to compare you really too much to anybody else, because you're your own person and you come up with your own stuff. But
I always like hearing the different comparisons, though, because like depending on the person, it's always something different, because everybody has a different musical taste.
I know. Now you see where this old man comes from. I'm listening to Snoop Dogg. I'm listening to those people, and Jay-Z and those are the ones that.
The first time I ever gotten that one, though. Jay-Z, like that makes me feel really good.
Well, he even has a soda commercial where they were trying to rap real fast, and then he said, no, slow it down. You don't have to rap so fast. You get the message out. You got 3 minutes. You got 4 minutes. Just take your time and get that message out. So what message do you want to give to people as you're rapping? I mean, what are you rapping about? Are you trying to have social message, or is it just fun?
No, when it comes to my music, like for the most part, I like to be like the embodiment of self-confidence. Like, I want to be as uplifting as possible. So I rap about like manifesting your dreams, like traveling, vacation, just lots of like extravagant stuff. Like, it's not just your typical baller rap. It's more of a get up and go get it type of thing.
See, this is something that you can do, Kace Cayne. Whatever experiences you have, you could put pen to paper and make a little rhyme out of it, and inspire other people. Man, that's something I'm jealous. I've never been much of a creative writer. I've been a creative speaker. I definitely have talked into this mic for many, many, many years. But without bouncing ideas off of somebody, I feel like when I'm talking by myself, I'm nobody. But when I'm talking with somebody, together we are so much stronger. But you can inspire people with your words. So when you do your, I know you've probably come a long way since that 17-year-old Kace Cayne got out of school and said, "Look, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to do this music." Where did you go from there? Did you go off and try to do gigs, or were you writing?
Yes, like I've toured 3 times in my 10 years. Like my very first tour was 2015. It was what I do: Washington, Idaho, Montana, California, and then unfortunately my manager got into a scuffle with one of the artists on the road, and we had to like shut it down. But I got to see states that I had never been to. My second tour, I got to be a supporting act with Astray from Shady Records. Like I don't know if he's still signed to them, but he was when I worked with him.
Well, how did that feel? That first one, when you were touring with other acts, I'm guessing it was some kind of a festival, or how many other acts were together with you, and you were all getting together, exchanging ideas?
Definitely, like we all rode in like the same car for the most part, and it was like me and like 3 or 4 other people. But like at first, it was just the initial meeting everybody, like feeling everything out, and then probably after that next couple of days, we were just best friends, just smoking blunts in the SUV, just going from venue to venue, stopping, getting food, whatever. I still talk to them to this day.
Yeah, just like any meeting, just like the same meeting that we are having. This is the first time that we've
Right.
chatted, and I'm getting to know a little bit more about you, and my listeners are getting to know a little bit more about you, the man behind the beats, the man behind the words and the mouth, the rhythm. So you have more depth than just what you've put out on Spotify and what you put out on your social media. There's more to you. I mean, what do you get? What do you like to get into when you're with your friends? Besides music, what do you like to do?
I like to watch anime. Like I'm a super huge anime nerd.
What's
I
what's
play
your anime?
video
No, no,
games.
no. What's your anime of choice? Because this will impress my 14-year-old daughter
Oh,
who's learning Japanese.
toys. What did I just finish? I just oh, man, I damn near want to hit my list real quick.
And I'd be
But
remiss if I didn't ask, subs or dubs.
dubs.
Dubs. You don't. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't like to read either. While I'm watching a movie, I don't want to read. I get it. But she subs. She wants to learn Japanese, and she is learning Japanese. So that's
Right.
that's something that you could do if you're watching these animes. But I mean, what's the anime that you just watched, or what have you been
Sword
watching?
Art.
What
I
is it?
just finished Sword Art Online, the first season.
Okay, and what's that all about?
It's a virtual reality thing. Like it's based off of a video game, and like everybody gets trapped in it. Like, and that's why I like VR right now to this day. Like my homeboy got an Oculus. And I was just like, that's what we need. Sword Art Online on the Oculus. Like,
Okay. All right, man. These are things that I'm just getting back into. I played a lot of video games when I was a kid. I played Atari
yeah.
2600. That was my jam. And I had four. I'm low level bragging, but yeah, I had 40 games on that thing. So I wasted lots of weekends playing, Defender and the like, and Pitfall Harry and what have you. But I know I'm just now getting back into video games. In fact, I'm streaming on oh my goodness, I'm streaming on oh my gosh,
Is it Twitch?
Twitch. Yeah, I'm streaming on Twitch and I'm streaming on Facebook. I have a KeysDAN Gaming on Facebook, and then on Twitch I'm KeysDAN as well. So I'm actually playing some of these games, Call of Duty and some of the other games. What are you into?
I love my RPGs, man. Like
Like?
the sandbox games. Like I still play Grand Theft Auto 5. I gotta beat it like 17 million times, but I love just driving around capping folks. Like it's the best way to like break laws without breaking laws. You feel me?
I understand, man. I like the driving games myself. I have the Crew and the Crew 2, and I just got Need for Speed Rivals, and I played as a cop.
Okay.
I played as a cop for the first part, and then it said, "Hey, would you like to play as a speeder?" I had so much more fun as a speeder. I did. I'm not gonna lie.
Like that's the one where you got to have all the different little like abilities as the cop or whatever. You had like the EMP and stuff like that.
Well, no, this one was like you're chasing the speeder, and your idea was to hit the speeder, and that's how you beat them. And then as the speeder, you had to get away from the cop, and it would say, "You're escaping, you're escaping, you're escaping." And I just got the game like 2 weeks ago, and I remember I escaped. I said, "Oh, you escaped, you escaped, you escaped," and then I escaped right off a cliff, and I flew off this cliff, man. I said, "Well, that was short lived. That wasn't a good win." Right. But what's your RPG again?
I played Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires.
Man, I don't know that game, and I'm interested. I have World of Warcraft loaded up, and I haven't played it yet. But tell me about the Dynasty Empires. What is that all about?
Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires is it's like a hack and slash game. It's Warriors like based on like feudal Japan and stuff like that. You got samurais, ninjas, and all sorts of like sword play and stuff like that. It's super dope.
Man, every time you say Japan or anything Japanese, I think of my 14-year-old. She's into it, man. I think she would probably be into that game. She's been playing Animal Crossing. What was that?
Get her a kimono for her birthday.
Now you're talking. That was a good suggestion, Kace Cayne. And her birthday's coming up. So I'm kind of excited about that. So, yeah, man. I mean, just getting to know, what your interests are and how you came to be who you are. So do any of those animes or any of those video games fall into your raps? Do they sneak in?
Oh man, if you pay real close attention, you'll hear tons of Dragon Ball Z references in my music.
That's what I like. I like the stuff that's low key that you wouldn't recognize, but any geek or the normal person wouldn't recognize, but any geek would go, woo, I got that, Like you'll hear that in raps, and you'll hear, they'll come up with a line like something, just I can't even come up with anything, but it doesn't sound like it fits. But if you knew the game, if you knew the reference, it fit perfectly, and it was just for.
I said one song, I said I was shining like a solar flare. And like that's one of like the oldest moves in Dragon Ball Z. Like they don't even use that now.
Excellent. See, that's awesome, man. You put Goku in your song somewhere, and you're like, oh, I see what he said. And all these inspirations, anything can inspire you. I mean, have you been inspired by relationships, or hey, have you been inspired by being raised by your grandma? Has she snuck into any of your songs?
She's from Georgia, so I'm Southern raised. So lots of different obscure references that she used to say back in the day, like hit my music, and like people would be like, "What is that from?" It was just on my brain.
Well, was she playing anything special in the house? What was Grandma playing?
Man, she played lots of the oldies, man. Like tons of the oldies. Like my uncle used to live with us too, and he used to play like Earth, Wind, and Fire, Luther Vandross. I'm trying to really think of the oldies, man. Like Ronald Isley, yes, the Isley brothers in general.
Yeah, I mean,
just the super slow jams, man.
All that, whether you like it or not, is going to affect you in some way, and that's what music does, man. Music, anything in the arts, it's going to affect you. You affect your life, the way you think about things, and what kind of, what kind of work was your grandma doing? And was it just grandma, or was there grandpa in there, or just a?
No, my grandfather died before I was born.
So you were raised by a single lady.
Experienced a lot of death in my life. It's strange.
But I mean, you ended up getting raised by a single lady, and that's a very difficult thing, man. That's tough. And she had already raised your mom. What's that?
Oh no, my mom was adopted too.
Wow. So that's a special lady that you had in your life, man.
Yeah.
Is she still around or no?
Like, my granny's still around. I haven't seen her in about a month, and I feel like a bad grandson because I've been super busy.
No, I get it. I get it. I have a 91-year-old grandma still kicking in the Florida Keys. I need to call her. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, and my 71-year-old mom.
I definitely have to call her tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to make a phone call, man. 2 phone calls, in fact. I mean, they're both down in the Florida Keys. Yeah, and yeah, no, all right. Thanks for reminding me. I appreciate that, Kace Cayne. You never know what you're going to get. But
right, call your grandmother,
call your mom, call your grandma. Be happy that they're still around. You know that you have that. Right. Any other family in your life? Any other brothers and sisters? Any siblings?
Nope, I'm an only child.
So they put, she put all her love into you, man. All her experience, all her wisdom into you. Growing up, did you have any special? I mean, was it anything special that she was teaching you along the way? Anything you could take from her?
Very loving, just teaching me how to not judge people just based off of like external things. Like, everybody has their own battle, so you never really know what's going on. So you should treat everybody with like love and compassion. She always used to say that.
Oh, she grew up in Georgia. She definitely had some battles, some troubles and tribulations throughout her life.
Yeah. And she was born in 1932, so she's seen a lot.
Yes, I believe she has. Anything that she related to you, for getting it firsthand from her. I mean, there's one thing to study, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, but you had grandma who was actually probably pretty close to there. Did you get anything from her?
Right. You tell me about like listening to speeches and whatnot on the radio.
That's fantastic, man. She had it firsthand. I mean, but did she have any troubles? I mean, for that matter, did you have any troubles growing up in Indiana?
The one Elwood show, I had an experience with a neo-Nazi.
Yeah. I'm listening to a podcast with someone, and he was a blues singer, and he sang the blues like he was somewhere in the South. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I'm giving you broken history, but he ended up having dinner with a member of the KKK, and after a while, after talking to him for a little bit, that man turned in his robes. He said, "Here, take my robes," and he ended up having almost 200 people leave the KKK because of him. Because it just, all you got to do is talk to people, man. And right now, I guess current events, man, where there's a lot of racial divisiveness and all that stuff. But with the murder of George Floyd, yeah, I guess we could say that. And quite a few other murders. There was, and it's happening quite often, man. I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel like there's a change coming, or do you feel it's just the same old thing again?
Honestly, I feel like people are getting really pissed off at this point. Like, riots and such, like, they weren't happening at like this often of a frequency, you feel me? And now like they're escalating.
Yeah,
like, I feel like every time these riots pop up, they're getting bigger and bigger.
Well, your grandma will tell you there was riots back in the 60s for sure, and all through the 70s and the 80s. And, people have had riots, and that's, man, even this country was developed on a lot of rioting. The people didn't want to be held down by a king. So I guess that's part of it. Yeah, I guess that's part of it. But man, I wish there wasn't so much destruction, especially, when it happens in your neighborhood and then you destroy your own neighborhood. It's just, it boggles me, man. And I know that's only a few. Most people are just holding up signs or giving a chant or singing songs.
All business, honestly. Like the folks that are really like getting the most of this from like the shutdowns and whatnot.
Yeah, is it happening anywhere in Indiana, in your area? What's thinking locally?
Yeah, dude, like stores are shutting down. Like there's a mom and pop like market that had like 3 or 4 locations out where I'm at right now. I stay in Anderson. It's like 45 minutes from Indianapolis. Gotcha. But we used to have like these little markets everywhere, and like they slowly but surely started closing down. Like we had factories that were closing down. Like people just like up and just moving to different like bigger cities and stuff. Like It sucks.
Man, that's not good for people. And the coronavirus thing, people are thinking only about the virus killing people, but shutting down the economy, it's killing people in other ways. You have no food, you're going to die. You have no work,
Yeah.
you're going to lose your house. You're going to be living outside. Guess what? You're going to die. So there's more to just getting than just getting a virus. I mean, how are you guys holding up where you're at?
Oh, we're good for the most part. Like venues and stuff are trying to open up. Like unfortunately, there have been a few that have closed their doors for good, but folks are still trying to keep it alive.
That hurts, man. I know here in Arkansas, I'm very proud of our governor, Asa Hutchinson. He's a Republican, but whatever you are, he's done a good job, man. The place, it's pretty much business as usual here, but put a mask on, keep each other safe. But pretty much all the stores are open. Anything that could open back up. I even have a gig every Friday night that has been open for quite a few weeks. Have you been gigging at all since the beginning of this coronavirus? Or are you stuck inside?
I get a show every once in a while. Like right now, I think I have 3 or 4 books. Yeah, September 12th, I'm in New Haven, Indiana at Carl's Tavern. October 1st and 2nd, I'm at Carl's Tavern again. Like they're spread out, but I'm making it happen.
That's true, man. But until then, so previous to this, how often were you gigging? What kind of shows were you doing? You said you had that one in 2015 where you were, showcasing all over the Northwest, in that area, those states. How was the response for them? I mean, before the manager got into trouble with one of the promoters, I guess.
The shows were actually really nice. Like the turnouts weren't too big, but like it was still big enough to like make money at the end of the night and go home with a smile on your face.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. You do your craft, and people that do this kind of work, it's for the love, but ultimately, yeah, you need to make a living too. So yes, you throw some money in the hat. If he's out there rapping,
right. Money in the hat.
Put some money in the hat. It's called love, and what the old school cats used to go, hey, show me some love, man. Give me some love. That's just money. That's just money.
Nice little tip for the hat one time for the one time.
You got that right. So, all right. So that first gig, it went reasonably well. What was are you still gigging locally after that 2015? Were you gigging locally week to week, once or twice a week? What were you doing?
I try to be busy like every weekend. So if it wasn't every weekend, it was like every other weekend doing like local showcases or opening for another artist, whether it was like pay to play or like talking to a promoter, whatever worked. Because like I've actually opened for a few of my like inspirations. It's dope to say that. I had to think back on that for a second. I was like, wow.
Yeah, well, you mentioned pay to play. What is that? Like a bringer show? Like you pay a certain amount and then whatever you make on the door is yours, or what's a pay to play?
It varies. Like with some situations, like I'm real tight with a promoter down in Indy, and like say Montana 300 would come to Indianapolis, and he'd be charging the artist like maybe like $250 a slot, and you get like a 15-minute set and like 30 tickets or whatever, and you get an opportunity to make your investment back and some.
Oh, so do you make it on the merch table? Do you have like CDs or T-shirts or something to sell? How do you make your money back?
I have physical CDs and shirts like whenever I have it available, because I sell out of them joints like as soon as I get them.
Well, that's good. That means Kace Cayne's getting popular, man. That's the trouble.
I try.
Well, I mean, you have a good online presence, and that's the first thing. When you're an independent artist, and I'm guessing you are, you're not signed with anybody.
I'm signed to myself. I got my LLC like 2 years ago.
Man,
so
you are giving people gems, man. I've had an S corp since 2004. I wish I would have been incorporated since 1986 when I started this stuff. Man, I would have been it's so protected because when you have a corporation, when you incorporate yourself, the people can pay the corporation. They don't have to pay Kace Cayne the man. They can pay Kace Cayne the corporation, and that holds so much coverage for you. Especially, I mean, the government, they want to help the corporations. They don't want to help the people. So it's good to have that coverage, man. Don't get me started on the. I guess I got myself started on how the government is out to harm the little man. We're supposed to be the ones that they're protecting, but we're the ones that they squash. They keep helping these companies.
People, government officials that have like profited off of this whole coronavirus crap. There's like a list of them that got like more richer in this. Like people are getting shut down and you're getting more rich. How does this work?
Yeah. Where's my bailout, man? Yeah, I get it. No, I the people that are making hand sanitizer, the mask makers, the coronavirus sign makers. What's that?
Before this all happened, Soulja Boy like started investing in soaps, and like this blew up, and he's like his soap company like took off.
Oh, that's what now he's back counting his money, so he doesn't have to. Soulja Boy tell him he ain't telling him nothing.
Yes, just the man was smart. Like I don't know how he was like ready for it to happen, but just bam, I'm gonna buy a bunch of soap and flipped it.
How smart was that, man? See, you just don't know. So Kace Cayne, the rapper. What are you looking to be Kace Cayne, the businessman? What would you like to see come out of this? Because I know you have beats. I know you have skills to pay the bills with the mouth. And definitely you know how to rap. But is there more in your future? What do you want to do?
I definitely want to expand. Like, I don't want to just do music. I want to do like film and TV. Like, I wouldn't mind having my own cartoon series. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bag everywhere, and I want my piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's just how I have to say it.
And that's what a creative does, man. Puts his fingers in different pots. Like I just got told yesterday, hey, you should do voiceovers. And I said, or voice acting. Well, people have said that, but I've done tons of commercials, and like I said, I've been speaking into this mic for over 30 years now and getting to talk to people. So that's fun for me. But yeah, I guess I'd be up for it if somebody made a cartoon or something that needed a voice acting. I would be happy to do it. Put some inflection on it.
I'm telling you, man.
So, all right, you're taking me on a tour of your house. If you're watching the video version, you're going on tour. What are we doing?
Oh, my bad. A little episode of MTV Cribs. I got a studio session here in a little bit, so I was just making sure that he wasn't already here.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, I don't want to take you away from that. What kind of studio session's coming up, and can you divulge who it is?
It is my homeboy Lil Tree. He's still in an experimental phase with his music. Like, he just finished his album probably about 6 months ago. Like, it's his very first album type deal. Like, I'm so proud of the boy.
Look at you, Kace Cayne, already helping the next generation. That's fantastic, man. Lil Tree, look out for him. That's fantastic. And that's where you're going to expand. See, because you can now. Are you helping to produce his beats, his album, or produce him?
Yeah, I've been engineering some of his songs. Like, he'll come through with an idea, and I'm just like, step to the microphone and let's make it happen.
Yeah, just like you did at 17, man. So how old is he?
He's like 25, I believe.
All right, man. Helping the next generation come up. That's beautiful, man. It's people helping people. That's wonderful. So Kace Cayne, I mean, how do people find you online? I mean, I know how, and now I'm going to put it in the show notes, but tell people how to find you.
You can find me on Facebook at Kace Cayne. That's KACECAYNE. Same on Instagram. On Twitter, it's Kace Cayne 4200. My music is on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, Tidal. Basically, like, whatever streaming service you would have, just put Kace Cayne in the search bar, and if I don't pop up, message me.
Yeah, Kace Cayne, man. If I put you in the Google, dude, your name is perfect. Is that your God-given name? Is that the name that you were born with?
sir.
But it's a good name to choose. I wasn't born with KeysDAN either. But
it's similar to my real name though. Like my real name's Cameron and my last name's Cayne, but it's just spelled differently.
Oh, that's fantastic. But the way you spelled it, as long as you put those together, put at Kace Cayne and just use that, you're well branded, and that's part of the game is branding yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, you've already alluded to part of it. What's on the horizon? And once we break out of this coronavirus thing, but tell me about the second big gig that you did. You had the one festival, 2015, but then you had another one.
Yeah, the second tour with Astray. Astray he's a real cool dude. Shot a music video in Spokane, Washington. Like we did a show at the Pit. R.I.P. to the Pit. They closed their doors. But just real cool dude. It was Washington, Idaho, and Montana. It's just a little short tour. Like we did 5 shows. It was lit.
And did you learn some stuff from him? Because you say the way you're talking about him sounds like he's been in the game a little bit longer than you were. So did you learn anything from him?
I mean, he was a real quiet cat. He kind of stayed to himself for the most part, but like interacted with us when he had to. You know, like I won't make him sound like too bad or anything because he's not a bad dude by any means. Like he was nice, but like I said, he just stayed to himself.
Well, and that's also part of the game too. Sometimes people got to rest their voice. You know, whenever you have a big speech coming up, or if you have a big show, they say, "Don't talk, man." Just
his homeboy Hatch. I still talk to him. Like I met him on tour, and Hatch Wise Guy. Like look him up on YouTube. The man is dope. Like he's from Detroit. Got like a cosign for like Royce the 5'9". Like man.
Well, Kace Cayne, you know, I talk to a lot of singers. Do you have a regiment for your voice to keep your voice in check, or do you try to exercise a little bit with your voice?
That's about all I mess with. Like I don't really know like technical stuff when it comes to singing. It's just more of I know how to harmonize over myself and hold a tune.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, you can produce like that. I haven't heard all the songs, but do some of the songs, do you sing as well as rap? Or do you have
sometimes? Like I sing some of my hooks. Like sometimes I'll have like little bridges in my like breakdowns and whatnot when I sing. Like I don't have like a full song where I completely sing yet because I'm still kind of like self-conscious about it. But I definitely sing in my hooks.
Have you had any training in that respect? Any vocal training? No? Do you play any instruments at all?
I play piano a little bit. Like I won't say I'm Beethoven, but I play a little bit.
Hey man, it's something else. Another tool in your tool belt, man. You break that piano out on stage, people will flip out. Let me borrow your keyboard for a second.
When it comes to singing, I learned like from mimicking different artists.
Like for example,
definitely different.
For example,
like who?
For example,
like Prince, like a little bit of like Andre 3000 when he sings. Like Chameleonaire was another one I liked because of his harmonies. Like I still kind of base my harmonies behind Chameleonaire's formula, but yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Man. Sounds like you're well-rounded musically between your grandma playing the Isley Brothers and the like, and Luther for sure. Big Luther or little Luther. So that helped. Solidify the base, but then you got into the Wu-Tang gang and the like. So yeah.
Wu-Tang, Bugs and them.
Yeah.
Do or die. Yeah.
What's your Wu-Tang name? Did you ever go through and make up a name?
On the Wu-Tang generator?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't. No. Couldn't even do it.
Yeah, I think Donald Glover is pretty upset of his Wu-Tang generator. He's a Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino.
Hey, man.
Goodness gracious. That man is extremely talented.
You don't have to tell me.
Bruh, like, I didn't even know how much he was doing until I looked into him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, doing screenwriting and shit. Like, I didn't even know he was, like, writing the storylines on, like, Community and stuff. Like, I watched it and it was like, oh, yeah, he's on Community. I didn't know he's, like, writing the whole crap. Like, man.
Oh, yeah. My 14-year-old definitely loves Community, and we watched that together. She's watched it over and over and over. And so Troy and Abed in the morning, for sure.
Troy and Abed that is my shit.
Yeah. I mean, just Troy. And then you knew that last season he left, and because he had to be Han Solo, because he had a music career. Childish Gambino. He didn't have to be Han Solo, but he had to be Lando Calrissian. So
Lando Calrissian, yes, he was.
Oh my goodness! I mean, and Billy D definitely had to be proud of that one because he took that smoothness. But you don't want to make movies. Yeah. I mean, what kind of movies are you thinking about? You think about musical movies, or what kind of movies are you wanting to make?
And I wouldn't mind being in a musical movie, but I like action stuff. I love my explosions. Like, let me get something directed by Michael Bay.
Hey, rappers making the leap into movies is not unheard of. There have been quite a few rappers. It seems like that's a thing, man. Between Ice Cube doing Friday and Tupac making movies with Janet Jackson, and just it seems like what. Yeah.
Poetic Justice.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, boys and girls, check it out. Change your life. But no, man, you can create, you can do whatever. Don't limit yourself. I could see big things coming, man.
Sky's the limit.
Well, yeah.
To everybody listening, sky's the limit. If you have something that you want to do, go out and do it. Don't say one day. You'll be saying one day for 30 years.
Absolutely, man. So, any other avenues you want to explore or you want to tell people about?
Right now, man, I'm just trying to expand with my label. Like, I have myself and my artist, Ernie Wayne. I would love to have a third artist on the label, but to have a singer on the label. I don't just have to have rappers. I'm trying to expand. Let me get a pop singer in this mug.
That's right. Kace Cayne, man. Do you have a .com yet? Or a website?
No, I'm working on my website right now. Hopefully before the summer's over, I will have that done.
Well, it sounds like your phone is blowing up. I think we should probably end this pretty soon. I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. So as things progress, I want you to come back on and talk about your projects that are coming up. And I usually finish these things off with last words for the people. And Kace Cayne, it could be something, words to live by. Maybe somebody told you that you've lived throughout your life, or it could be just whatever pops up into your head. Kace Cayne, last words for the people.
Words to live by. Hustle, 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 get money. Yes.
Well, there you have it, party people. Kace Cayne. You know what my mom or my grandma would say? Such a nice man. Such a nice man. He is, man. I had a lot of fun talking to him. That was fantastic. I mean, the guy, if anybody could do a show and play some music on it, but I want to know what's going on behind the music. And there's a story behind Kace Cayne, and you just heard a little bit about it, man. He's had some pain, some sorrows from the beginning. He had almost like a revelation in the beginning of the show. He said, "Man, I've had a lot of death in my life." Huh? Yeah. I mean, it almost felt like it was revealed to him, and through that pain, that sorrow, it comes creativity. Some people can turn it inwards toward themselves, or some people have the ability, like Kace Cayne, to write it all down and to spit it out and to inspire others using those words, man, using those sorrows, those experiences. I've already said I'm very jealous of that. But listen to the music of Kace Cayne, and you'll hear all of the experiences, including his love for anime and games and stuff. So that's in there. It's in there. Just like Prego used to say, it's in there. All right. Thank you so much, Kace Cayne, for chatting with me on the What Makes You Famous podcast. Now I'm turning my attention to you, the loyal listener. If you would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, radiowhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.